Hey, what's up everyone? MLT Magic Tricks here. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you a tutorial for this very cool no setup mind reading style card trick that I actually got the chance to perform on a magician who was doing an event at my school last year. And he said he did not know how I did the trick. He was really amazed by it. So that is how you guys know this is an excellent card trick. So definitely stick around to learn this one. But before we get into it, if you are new here to the channel, make sure you subscribe with those post notifications on for more card and magic trick videos like this, and also definitely check out the link in the description to my Amazon page where I have a collection of all the decks I use in my videos, along with a variety of magic tricks and accessories. But anyways, guys, let's get right into this card trick. Okay, so I'm going to get right into the tutorial for this card trick. I'm not going to do a performance because I don't have a spectator, and even if I had one, the performance would not look the best on camera, just for how this card trick works. But do not worry, everything will make sense for how to do this card trick in the tutorial. So all you need is a deck of cards. This is a completely no setup trick, so you can begin by having your spectator shuffle the deck. Once they are done shuffling, you're going to ask for the cards back, and the first thing you need to do is memorize the top card in the deck. So after your spectator shuffled, you can ask for the cards back and just spread out the deck face up. While you're doing this, you're going to be telling your spectator that all these cards are random, that you can just show them that there's no order. And while you're spreading, you need to go to the very top, take a quick peek at the top card, in this case, the Jack of Diamonds. That is the top card in the deck right now. You need to memorize this card, the very top one, because that is essential for this card trick. We have memorized the Jack of Diamonds. And just for good measure, if your spectator thought you were doing something sneaky, you can give the deck a riffle shuffle. Keep that top card right there on the top, that Jack of Diamonds, and you're good to go. So once you have memorized the top card, you're going to tell your spectator, you're going to show them the top 5 cards in the deck, and they are going to focus on one and memorize it throughout the entire trick. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you have done this, you're going to spread them out, make sure your spectator can see all 5. You're just going to be showing them the cards and tell them to focus in on one and memorize it. Now, here is what we have. We got the 5 cards here. You have memorized the top one, the Jack of Diamonds in this case, and then you have 4 random cards right below it. Your spectator is going to be focusing on one of these 5, and this card trick is known as a multiple endings card trick. There are 5 scenarios for which this card trick can end, and it depends on which card your spectator memorizes here at the start. Now, in this tutorial, I'm going to be explaining each scenario and how the card trick ends depending on which one your spectator memorizes. So we're going to start by having our spectator thinking of the Jack of Hearts, okay? And then we're going to go down and end with your spectator thinking of the very top card, the one you memorized, the Jack of Diamonds. So you show your spectator these cards. They'll tell you that once they have one memorized, in this case, they're memorizing the Jack of Hearts. You're going to place the 5 cards back on top of the deck, and the first thing you're going to do is slide off the top card, the one you memorized, right in the middle of the deck, just like that. So you can do it casually. As you're talking to your spectator, you just lift up half the deck, slide off the top one. Remember, this is the Jack of Diamonds, the card that we are memorizing here. Don't turn it over, make it very casual. You place that right in the middle, and the next thing you're going to do is get a pinky break below the top 2 cards in the deck. So you're going to spread out the cards. You can square them up. It's an easy way to get a pinky break below the top 2 cards right here, because these are 2 other possibilities for which your spectator could have memorized. Now, remember, in our case, our spectator is memorizing a Jack of Hearts. So you're going to now just cut these cards right to the bottom. Now you transfer that over, the pinky break to the thumb break. You just double undercut these cards right to the bottom. That's all you need to do. Now you have these 2 cards on the bottom of the deck. And then you have your other 2 possibilities. These were a part of the original 5. Those are still on top. And then you have the one in the middle. Now, remember, for our example here, our spectator has memorized the Jack of Hearts. So once you have these cards on the bottom, you're going to ask your spectator, is the card that you memorized on the bottom of the deck? You're going to spread out a small portion of cards here. Don't go too far to the point where you accidentally flash the card that you thought of at the start, the Jack of Diamonds. That should not be an issue. Just spread out, a decent portion here on the bottom. Make sure you're aware, though, you do not want to show them the card that was on top, the very top card, the one you're memorizing here, in this bottom portion, or else that will mess up the trick. So you're going to tell your spectator, okay, look for your card here on the bottom. Do you see it? In this case, they will say yes. Now, when you are really performing this trick, you're not going to know which one of these 2 is your spectator's card. So that is fine, because this is how you're going to do the trick. Now, you're going to tell them that behind your back, you're going to make a prediction for the card that they are thinking of. Now, here's what you're going to do behind your back. Pretend the deck now is behind my back. What you're going to do is take the bottommost card. You need to memorize it. In this case, the 5 of clubs. All you're doing is placing this card face up in the middle. Okay, that's the first thing you're doing. Then with the next card, the Jack of Hearts. This is the one our spectator memorized in this example. This card goes right to the top. That's going to be quick. It's going to be happening behind your back. Your spectator is not going to see what you did there. You're going to bring the deck back into view. You're going to ask your spectator, okay, what was the card that you memorized at the start? For our example, they are thinking of the Jack of Hearts. You can tell them, okay, I got one card to the top of the deck. You can, do a little riffle like that, do a false cut. Make sure you're careful not to flash the card in the middle. Go like that and show them that the card that's on the top is the one that they're thinking of. So that is one scenario. The other scenario is if they're thinking of that card that you place in the middle, the 5 of clubs. This scenario is already taken care of. So you're going to ask them what was their card. They will say the 5 of clubs, and tell your spectator, okay, you put one card face up in the middle of the deck, and you will show them that the card that you put face up in the middle was their selection right here, the 5 of clubs. So that is the second scenario for how this card trick can end if your spectator thought of one of those two cards at the start of the trick. Now, let's go to the other scenario. So I hope that makes sense. That is why this trick is called a multiple endings card trick, because those are two different endings depending on which card your spectator memorized at the start. So at this point, let's say our spectator was thinking of one of these two cards at the start, because remember, these were a part of our original 5. So once you go to the bottom, you show them these cards, your spectator says, no, I did not think of one of these. You're going to say, okay, now I'm going to show you some cards at the top of the deck. You're going to riffle off about 10 to 15 cards, just turn these face up. This is one way you can do this. I'm going to explain another way really quickly in a second. You spread out these cards from the top of the deck. Ask your spectator, okay, do you see your card near the top? Make sure you spread out all these so they can see these, because it's either going to be one of these two. Let's say your spectator says yes. You need to memorize which one is on the very top. In this case, the 3 of hearts. So you can do it that way, or you can go like this. You can have the deck face up. You cut about half the pack. Keep a pinky right here near the top, and then you spread out. You see the separation here, and you ask them, okay, do you see your card near in the middle here? Because this makes it seem like their card is kind of more in the middle. It makes it seem more impossible for your predictions. So you can do either of these two ways. Let's say your spectator is going to say yes, and then all you need to do is cut this portion right back to the bottom and get these two cards back on top, because at this point, your spectator is thinking either of the 3 of hearts or the 3 of spades. Bring those right to the bottom casually as you're bringing the deck behind your back, because you're going to tell them, okay, I'm going to make a prediction for the card that you're thinking of. At this point, the deck is behind your back. You're doing the same thing here. The first card, this goes face up in the middle. This is really not hard to do behind your back. Just practice it a couple times. So this goes face up there in the middle. Then you have the other card right here. This is already on top, the 3 of spades. Now, you have these two scenarios covered. So you're going to bring the deck back into view, ask your spectator what was their selection. If they say the 3 of spades, you're going to tell them, okay, I have one card here on top of the deck. Snap your fingers, do a little riffle, do a false cut, however you want to reveal it, and show them that the card on top is the one that they are thinking of. You also have that other scenario taken care of. In this case, our fourth scenario, the 3 of hearts in the middle. Your spectator says their card is the 3 of hearts. Spread out the deck and show them that their card right here is in the middle, the 3 of hearts. Now, those are the 4 scenarios if your spectator is thinking of, the cards that are on the bottom or on the top there. So now, those are the 4, remember, and then the very last one, let's say you show your spectator the cards on the top. You ask them, do you see your card here? And they say, no, I do not see my card. That indicates to you that the card they're thinking of was the one that was on the very top, the card you memorized, the Jack of Diamonds. So this is how you do that scenario, the 5th and final one that could happen. Remember, you show them the cards at the top, the bottom. They say, nope, none of those are my cards. You're going to tell them, okay, now I'm going to spread through the deck to myself and take out a prediction for the card that you're thinking of. At this point, you know the card. You know it's the Jack of Diamonds. You're going to spread through. You're looking for that Jack of Diamonds. Once you get to it, you take it out, keep it, face down, make sure they don't see it. You place it right here on the table and ask your spectator for the first time to tell you what the card was. And if they will say the Jack of Diamonds, and you will reveal to them the card that's on the table is the Jack of Diamonds, you correctly, matching their selection. And this one, in my opinion, this scenario, the final one, does have the most powerful effect because the card is already on the table. There's nothing you can do. And it just seems completely impossible that you know that their card was the Jack of Diamonds. That's a way you can do this for this scenario. That's a way you can do it because remember, guys, the card's going to be face down in the middle. you spread out to it, you take it out, or you can simply just say, okay, I'm going to read your mind. I believe your card is a Jack of Diamonds, and you don't even have to take it out. But I think it's better if you spread through, you take out the card, and it's already here face down. They say it, and then boom, you reveal it. I think that's the best way to do that scenario. Okay, so I hope everything I explained in this tutorial made sense for how to perform the trick. And one quick note, since this card trick does have multiple endings, it does work best if you only perform this card trick one time to your spectators, just because if you perform it again right after, it may end a different way and your spectator may get suspicious. So just keep that in mind for this card trick. It does work best if you only perform it one time. Definitely give this one a try. It does have a very powerful effect. Make sure you understand how to do all the scenarios there depending on which card your spectator memorizes at the start. And that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to check out my Amazon page, link in the description if you guys need some magic products. But anyways, that's going to do it for me for this one. I will see you all in my next video. Peace out.